Yo, yo. I have a second copy of the report. It might be useful. You're welcome to have it.
Really? Are you sure?
Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed on you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I?
Ah.
Alright, let's look at this post-mortem report. See what's up. Sometime between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae, resulting in instant death. Victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. So here's my thought, right? I think that the ballerina's friend is a snake. But I still think that's a red herring. I don't think that the murder weapon is the snake.
Oh, Mr. Shobes was here, was he?
Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept around on the floor investigating. Then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored.
Did he say anything at all?
Actually, now that you mention it, yes. Just one thing. But he practically shouted it.
It's shoe polish!
Was all he said.
Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant.
It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass, do you see?
Perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored bark, do you think?
Ah, yes, that must be it.
But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish?
That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea.
What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? Sort of like a dark brownish red then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh! Does this mean this mark was made by the polish in Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed the floor?
That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewman's eyes are boring into the back of my head.
Yeah, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector, you look exhausted.
Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke up this morning.
Heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. Looks like whatever it was is broken clean in two. The other half is nowhere to be seen. And then there's the brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe. What I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it?
Wants me to look at this again? Okay.
It's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor. They spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping there. But to be truly unambiguous, should have just spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian. Which begs the question, who wrote it?
Well, it had to be somebody Russian. That's just my guess. You, where did you go?
Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to investigate.
Why? Who gave you permission for this?
Well, I mean, Seaman Hosonaga did.
Humph. Did no Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into a bowl and throw him into the cold room.
Whew. He's gone back to guarding the door.
I hope that Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account.
He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at Le Carnival.
You caught up to the shoe polish? What's happened since then? Not much. We looked at the shoe polish. We think it's Kazuma's shoe polish, because he had similarly colored shoes, apparently. That's about it. I looked at the body again, and they now both agree that Kazuma probably didn't write it, because why would he write it in Russian? Talk to that sailor man who's not a fan of us or Hosonaga. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san.
How you doing, man? How was your magic game? Did you win? I don't think I can leave, can I? Can't. You got bullied? What do you mean? Did somebody come in with one of those card decks that wasn't for the game type or something again? Or did they make fun of your hands, the only part of you they could see?
All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yeah, and you tidied them up, didn't you?
You have to look after the ship's property.
Unruly behavior in the cabin leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked him over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy.
They called you fat and hideous, and it was great. Interesting. Your captain then, or what? Your commander, I believe it's called. So one thing I noticed that they don't really seem to have noticed yet is that in the Russian girl's cabin, the books were also all tilted, just the other direction. So something made the books in this room tilt towards her room and vice versa.
This is where Kazuma spent his final moments, writing his diary. 1:23 a.m. I could hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. It's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words. I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will!
I'm pretty sure it was tilted in the opposite direction. Because this was tilted, like, towards this ventilator thing. And then I think hers was also tilted towards the ventilator. I might be wrong, though.
This is... Yes, it's a Bellcorp contraction, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell or summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Should we give it a little try? Yes! In the interests of cultural research, obviously.
Damn, nothing this time either.
Suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. Oh, no, I'm sure everyone's just busy, that's all.
What's left to look at? Looked at this. I'll look at this again, I guess.
This ventilator joins Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yeah. I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Booyah. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. By bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova's broken the rules. called it her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as of yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. A friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. Is Snake. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and the cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yeah, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then, perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No, no, no! Alright.
Okay, so I am allowed outside here. 9th of January, SS Booyah, first class cabin passageway.
Duh! Look, Naruto-san! Seaman Stroganoff is gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor was always crossing his arms and glaring at us. All these Russian names are impossible to remember.
A little bit xenophobic, but we'll look past it. We'll look past it.
Long ago, there were different times.
La la la.
Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing.
La 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 la.
I did it the great detective way.
Depends how you view it. There's definitely some xenophobia in acting like all foreign names are hard to say. Like, for example, easy example, you know? Pro ZD, his name's Sungwon. Easy to say, easy to remember. Lots of people are still like, oh, that's such a difficult name. I'll just call you Michael. You know? Like that. There's definitely a xenophobic way to view it. Though I think he's just a doofy young man. Yeah, but he keeps mentioning it. If it was a one-time thing, I would be like, you know. Anyways. This caroling. I know that lark-like voice.
Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely. Before that stingy crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot.
First class cabin, number 2. Oh, you're right, it is tilted the same way.
Susato-san! Oh! Where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right. For Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? Can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san, by ourselves if we have to.
I think it's the same thing as how people mispronounce karaoke or ukulele. It's annoying, but mostly because people are lazy and don't know the right pronunciation. Doesn't mean they're xenophobic. It all depends on how frequent it is, right? I also think a person's name and an object or an event are very different.
All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door. In Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Should she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happens on this ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again here too. I don't like seeing things in disarray.
Stop tampering with the evidence! Oh, for sure, for sure. It's like the 1900s. They're not gonna hold up to our sensibilities, that's for sure.
There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin, too. Yeah, it's a bell cord. I can't resist.
Hey, thanks for the host, man. Appreciate it.
She barely hesitated there. She gave it a good tug, too. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret.
Fat host, baby.
Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here. Yeah, why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have a strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know? Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. Oh. I was rather hoping we'd find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck.
I've investigated thoroughly, but I cannot find anything out of place. Alright, buddy. Sure you did.
It would seem this teapot's empty.
Yeah, I mean, she's 16, you know, she's gonna have her smart moments and her dumb moments. That's just how it is. And also, all the characters have their comedic element. I think she's 16. Let's give it a look. I was right. Take that!
So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either.
I mean, she's 16, so that she's technically legal. That's the reason. Like, yeah, it's yucky. They're definitely gonna like make her seem like she could be Ryu's love interest, even though he's 23. They always do that. They never like actually do it, you know, but they like hint at it. Like with Phoenix Wright and his sidekick Maya, they did that a lot. But now Phoenix is, I think, 34 and she's like 26 or something. And it's more of like a big brother, little sister kind of vibe they have right now. But both like adults well into their paths in life, which are different from each other.
It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 on it.
You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san?
I wonder what this little saucer's doing on the floor. Yeah, doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Do you think? Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's like a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is gonna sink. I've never been on a boat before, but like, probably, right? No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there.
Makes it sound like she was carrying around a special toy. That's all I'm saying. But it was definitely a snake.
Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring any animals aboard the SS Booyah. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now?
Probably with her. Be my guess.
Just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it.
Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all.
That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read.
Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian.
Thanks. I think I probably already knew that.
It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that.
Ah, yeah. They're displayed in this cabin too. Look, the SS Booyah's rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case secret after she read this. Your special friend, I mean.
I wonder where her friends disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine.
I just hope Steven Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard.
Oh, yeah. So do I.
Oh, what is left? Oh, this is left.
This ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door.
Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room.
Ah, maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm.
Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning.
Oh. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out from this ventilator.
Sure did.
This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has.
There's no our cabin door anymore, Ryu. It's your cabin door now.
The bolts were drawn across. There's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside.
Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across on its own accord, would it?
No, and the door's made of metal. There's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside.
And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater from coming in. You couldn't use the method you told me about passing a thread through a crack in the closed door either.
I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. Starting to see why they suspect me.
Whatever caused the books to slide caused the bolts to slide. Does that mean it wasn't a Dude, I didn't even think about that. That's definitely the case, you're right. Is there anything else I can look at? Trash can. Last time you thought something you were wrong? And the time before that? These games have a special kind of logic, but I think you're onto something there. I also think that it's very possible that it'll come up, right? And then we'll have that answer as a way of prolonging the trial, but in reality it will turn out to be something else.
suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket.
Should we have a little look and see what's been thrown away?
Daruto-san. It's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know.
Ugh, those eyes. It's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now.
However, these are special circumstances, I think.
Exactly, we have no choice.
She just wanted to shame me first.
How cool.
There's hardly anything in here at all.
Well, yeah, she arrived yesterday.
Oh, well, that's a little disappointing.
What haven't I looked at? I have looked at everything. Am I not? No, stop. I have looked at everything. I will move.
I've investigated thoroughly, but can't find anything out of place.
You investigated the floor. That's cool. I would like to leave. There we go. Back. Dish on the floor is for friend? I believe so. Ah!
Oh, it's Mr. Shobes. Look.
Wow, you never know when he's gonna turn up next, do you?
He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself.
La 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 lay. I did it the great detective way. Still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us?
Or he's simply in extremely high spirits.
Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me? I solved it all, and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! Ah! What is it? Do you want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing. And I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never gonna stop, so I figured that was as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away?
Mr. Shobes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you.
I did a detective. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in the study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here.
Oh, yes, the ship's log. And did you find anything useful from it?
Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, majority of the entries are blank. Which means there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've utterly been blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Shobes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway. And he has almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there's just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean? Yes. There were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now. But we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log into your mental file. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes brilliance. Ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. You can hear it as he wanders off the passageway. I did it, the detective. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought.
It's just, well, I feel the same.
Sorry?
Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing.
Oh, you too?
That makes 4 people with a headache. Maybe there was some gas going through the pipes. Wait, can I go through this door?
That door leads to the second class area.
It's locked. I can't open it.
No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape.
Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. This looks like a plan of the SS Booyah. Shows each deck. Look.
The Booyah is a large-scale steamship with triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering!
What's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean?
Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san.
It is?
Well, consider the Japanese archipelago.
Islands of Japan?
Yes, they're not metal, but they're enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than the ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since God's created them.
Well, I suppose so.
Those are not the same thing. And do not function in the same way. Okay. It's like, hey, you looked at this. Hey, you looked at this. Okay. So, my guess, right, is the reason the log wasn't being kept is because they were sneaking in Pavlova. And they didn't want to log that, obviously. I think if anything, the big guy was probably in charge of that. Maybe he did it on his own even. Because he has like a very clear like mark on his face. And that's got to be from something. Actually. He might have been inside of the ventilator or something. But I don't know. The ventilator doesn't have those patterns, does it? That's like a modern ventilator. This ventilator doesn't look like that, I think.
What's that?
Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted at quarter-mile 4. Full stop. Hard starboard. All heads brace for impact. What the?
I think we're about to crash into another ship.
What?
I can't stand.
Susato-san, hold on to me. Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all?
I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san.
Looks like we avoided a collision.
I think.
Yeah, the ship has come to a stop.
Oh my goodness. What about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance.
Ah, okay. Sherlock.
Oh, that sounds like...
Oh, Hosonaga, okay.
Inspector Hosonaga.
Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly. What? The bolt?
Look at that.
The door's bolted! Did you do that, Susato-san?
No, I didn't touch it.
Well, that's strange. How did... Look at all the books! Just like they were before again.
Look, so I get that it's this like weird and exposition-y in case you didn't see the connection, right? Between the ship moving and all the shit moving. But for them, who were a part of being moved to the left, being surprised about all this stuff individually being moved to the left, is so strange.
Naruhodo-san, aren't you gonna open the door and let the inspector in?
Better tidy this place up first. A violent emergency stop had solved one mystery, at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart.
Nice. I'm just going to take my break a little bit early then. Rather than go a little bit into this next thing and then take a break, you know? I think it's better. So I will be right back.
Boy, I'm back.
This is definitely going to be a 2-day case. We have very little information, and I'm pretty sure we're about to go into court.
Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we had made an emergency stop. Usato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt.
You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters?
Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. Yeah, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? Heard something about how we're gonna collide with another ship?
Yeah, it appears to have been a false report, though.
Oh, how did that happen?
There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop.
Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming, crew are running everywhere.
This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment.
Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean someone pressed that button outside?
Yeah, you wicked intruder. You dressed in all black. You're the devil.
Sorry? Me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil's the first.
You opened my traveling case. How could you?
What? No! No! We didn't touch it!
That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector!
Yes?
Arrest this man! I know he did it! He is a criminal. Is it not enough that he has killed a man? Duh! And he is a stowaway as well! A vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away! He is trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She is right. You are devil.
Doesn't look good, does it?
There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police.
Wait, a cell?
Please, Inspector Hosonaga. Is there nothing you can do?
This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options.
This is terrible.
It's a real crisis. I've got to find a solution.
Immediately.
This means Rio will be in cell. Technically, yeah, he will be in a cell. I can't present anything. I can move and I can examine. I can't move. Why'd you tell me I can move and I can't move?
Miss Pavlova, can I
Get out.
listen? I'm so sorry that we snuck in here without your permission, but
Get out. Now.
just needed to investigate in here. Do svidaniya! Ugh, it's no use. She's not gonna listen. Need to find somebody who will. Please, just give me a little more time.
I do nothing for you, except show you the way to the ship's prison cell.
Thanks, but no thanks. But I'm innocent. I didn't kill anyone.
In trespassing and stowing away.
You know, sometimes life can lead you down some unusual avenues and, well...
Enough! You are guilty! Ship's cell is only place fit for you.
Come on, there has to be at least someone. Some savior to rescue me from this crisis.
Is he always fucking hanging on shit?
What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes?
Naturally, I was analyzing what the weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no, no, no.
Well, how were you hanging from that hook before then?
Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend to conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce.
Never know whether to take this man seriously or not.
You again, the great detective. Inspector! I confess, I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you, most urgently.
Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on a wall next time.
What is to report? Speak! An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night on this vessel, the steamship Booyah, has been solved. By me, naturally.
What? Really?
Yes. I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist.
This isn't gonna go well.
So allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. You have solved it? Even the hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing the student boy this morning when we found the criminal in the wardrobe. It is the stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it.
I didn't do it.
The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. As everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must have been someone who was inside the cabin.
Yes, it's what's called the locked room mystery in detective stories.
Duh! Locked room! That is point.
The room was locked? Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You're all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all.
What?
Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man! The ventilator? You think this is funny? I cannot even put arm through that hole.
It's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. Jesus.
You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? Not possible. Ah, but it is. Last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator.
Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
Precisely, my dear madam. What does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin.
Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing?
There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not. I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cause. Behold!
What the?
Allow me to introduce you all to the band, the Speckled Band. A snake? Indubitably.
Mr. Sholmes, just one thing.
Pray, what troubles you?
Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? Looks more stripy, wouldn't you say?
Hmm?
Yes, you're right. I think in this case you would have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you?
You both see and observe with distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall?
Oh my goodness, really? Is it a trap? How exactly?
I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova?
I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me.
There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night your friend
infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number 2, the same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life.
No. She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head.
His young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi?
Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. How weird.
I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Erlach Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without a doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings don't fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have to answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Evidently, after subtle and horrible crime, its most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Last night, through the ventilator, visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. Snakes so dreadful we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India.
Moving on, we've come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of this victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime.
Oh no! Could there be?
Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend.
This makes no sense.
There's no point in feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt.
You don't...
It's telling that the victim made a note of how low whistling sound he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend.
To train?
Indeed, you put the serpent through the ventilator. Wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. The victim appeared to not have been dispatched. You would release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training?
It's not true.
Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. There will be doubt, because there were question marks, and it's part of the game that I kind of debate you. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor you will observe a saucer of milk. Promise of food is the key to training any creature.
Incredible! You solved the mystery.
Amazing. Your great deduction really does live up to its name. I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name.
My dear man, there's nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with only the left hand.
Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes?
But of course, what's on your mind?
It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me.
I welcome questions as to my method, and I will answer both loudly and proudly.
Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family.
You are well informed, madam.
And reptiles, don't drink milk.
Ah,
It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward.
no matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds.
Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears.
Ah,
Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling.
but madam, what of the tales of Arabia? You not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute?
I think perhaps the performers played their music in time with the snake's natural movements.
No, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears. These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless.
Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes.
There is one other thing.
You have more?
Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins.
Then it should try harder.
Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh no, you don't mean...
Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be.
I had a feeling that was coming.
Alright, let's give it a try. Just what was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yeah, right.
So, cast your eyes down on your wrists again.
What? You've done it again!
Your handcuffs are gone.
Where did they go? They're not. I shall see that they're restored after our work is done.
I really wish you'd just let him off. What's the worst? The snake puzzle? We'll figure it out.
Now, everyone, let's begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Having to do all of Sholmes' work for him. It's a 50-50 kind of thing, I think. Sholmes comes up with like some pretty good observations. He just needs help putting them in the right place. I assume that that's what Dr. Wilson did for him before he died, and now we're sort of filling that role. He's a bit too eager to just go with the first thing he thinks of, I think.
Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following.
I've already read this, so I'm not going to read it. Okay, so that one's right.
Does have a pained expression on her face.
Yes, that's true. Her head hurts.
She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. You're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova.
I'm looking at you. Is her butt smart? Oh, her hand. Got scrizzly scratched, dude.
Oh, Daruhodo-san, look! That looks like a very painful wound. Looks like a scratch made by some sort of small animal. And fairly recently, too.
That's not her snake. She probably has like a cat or something, and hopefully the snake hasn't eaten it. I mean, if the snake had eaten it, we'd be able to see it, right? Because snakes digest for like weeks.
Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here.
Yes!
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and a simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch? Sometime last night? No! When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. It is that very pain that evidences your...
Blah, blah, blah. He said this already. The friend in which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Another telltale glance. Friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. No, it's the guy.
Seems likely the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, that snake isn't her pet. What is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze, Daruhodo-san. That's where we'll find the answer.
What's she looking at?
There's no doubt, is there? She looked in this direction. Straight at Siemens Stroganoff.
Again, disgusting dish.
Well, they do seem to be friends of sorts. But I can't imagine how he could possibly fit through that ventilator.
Don't forget that I managed to fit inside Kazuma's trunk when we first boarded this ship. Oh! He had that snake on his head before. That's what the marks are from. The marks are from the snake. He already had them. Maybe it's his snake.
I would ask what proves, but I think an equivocal little smile would have been more effective.
Oh, the only option is Stroganoff's. Let's go with it. Okay, so it's not Stroganoff, clearly. I'm skipping this because it's just like, it's going to be the same thing every time we fail. Scout around again in the direction she looked at. Oh, I can rotate. There we go. Oh, it's the bell from the cat.
Ah, look at this photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away.
She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah, that's true, but personally, the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye, I want to fuck the cat. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova's cuddling here.
Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruhodo-san, for the blackest outfit?
A black kitten. From the look of this picture, at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it.
Yes!
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us.
Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear.
Oh no. The secret you're keeping is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
What were you right about? Also, congrats.
Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind.
Darka would appear to be a Russian blue.
Oh, you called the cute cat immediately? Yeah, I thought it was gonna subvert it, but then it subverted it by subverting the subversion into just doing the normal thing, which is pretty interesting.
And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary.
Victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. As regrettably, the specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. Explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
They ought to use a subwoofer for that. Or maybe in this case, a sub-meower. Yeah. So the cat was wearing the tiara?
You just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. She just left it in her pocket. No one would have ever known.
Oh yes, toys like that are Mr. Shub's specialty. He so cleverly forced her to reveal something.
Thought deduction was a specialty. Or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too.
Anyway, I find it hard to believe that that's the skin of a snake.
In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back?
Ain't that, it's something else.
Well, it's speckled and it's a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy, a long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy.
This is sort of... I think it may be a cat's toy. This is sort of common in the West, apparently.
How is that a toy for cats?
Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it.
That sounds positively adorable.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you're trying but failing to conceal is, it's a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. Was this a toy that you dangled through the ventilator? You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim would not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. A feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin. Miss Pavlova's attempt to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darker.
Could be, could be. I also think it's a possibility that that's also like the emergency stop caused that.
Truly troublesome feline, young Darka's proving to be. He must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing that photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova.
It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. Scratched the back of my hand and ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she's so naughty.
Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim.
What Mr. Shob says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma's body.
That's right. Mr. Shob seemed to be unaware of something that I missed. Mr. Shob seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned.
Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes, I knew it was one or the other.
His neck was...
Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that.
Seaman Stroganoff isn't some sort of immortal freak, you know?
The jury is out. And anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it on the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could there be? Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapons have been found, though.
Presumably Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow.
I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident.
Oh, yeah. A bad fall would explain it.
It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man.
Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened?
I mean, I guess this.
Yes!
Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove that the cause of death conclusively. This particularly mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish?
Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of fact. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish.
And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please, no.
By a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life.
I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life?
Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. Did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. Now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose.
I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama barely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but mark across the floor does suggest that's what happened. But if this is part of Mr. Sholm's deduction is right, Miss Pavlova's trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be somewhere.
And may God bless your soda. Here, go away now. Have the rest of your stream with a climactic case. May God bless my soda. Alright. Have fun playing Magic. I'm gonna be done real soon. Like, after this deduction, I'm just ending stream. Because it's basically time anyways.
Ah, somebody appears to have dropped 20,000 rubles here.
It hasn't been dropped, Naruhado-san. It's been placed.
Starting to sound like Mr. Sholm.
Oh, you're to sleep. Alright. Enjoy sleep.
Stop trying to sound like the great detective.
It's the only thing I can choose, so I guess I'll choose it.
Yes!
Oh, nope.
You tried to hide the evidence in plain sight, didn't you? It's this tiara. Oh, don't give me that wide-eyed, incredulous stare. I know the truth. And 20,000 rubles is enough to make anyone lose their head. That deduction was wanting in every way. Yes, I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. I found myself wanting never to have heard it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh, sorry. I'll try again.
Is the other half of the...
This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably, there's not much rubbish in it yet. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Yes!
That's right! You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have the fragment of some intricate glass object. It would seem one that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely! We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Osogi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which is evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know in that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah.
Yes!
You look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. Nay. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. A young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inconspicuous fall. Inauspicious, my bad. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend, Darka. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Deduction complete. Elementary. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. That's not what he sounds like. She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her.
And that is how you acquired that rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it.
Yes. And I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me.
Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really.
So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet, I was sure. If someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point,
you thought it's safe to try to lure the kitten back again. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator into the adjoining cabin.
Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She did not return. The faint whistling sound Cosima wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet.
Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened.
Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Cosima was...
From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Booyah is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. Mr. Isogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet. A combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards?
In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator.
Darka's nowhere to be seen.
I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she's disappeared again.
Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am.
Well, he knows something about himself at least. When I woke up this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake?
You're right. Where is...
The snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova. Then whose is it? And where did it come from? And what on earth is such a dangerous creature doing aboard this ship?
Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Piroshko. What?
What?
That snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when the emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. Did not expect to find him here.
Yeah, how'd the snake get into this cabin?
But animals are not permitted on board. We're at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long with that close friend without someone who understands?
Couldn't you find someone a little more human who understands you better?
But my dear burly fellow, gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Hmm? Piroshko does not have venom. He is harmless. Very long but very gentle. He is adorable, like Granny. It's venomless? Yes. Now he is hungry, so he's in bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile.
And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose?
Like they say milk chickens? Ridiculous! Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Piroshko eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses.
Oh, so... Is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there's for?
Of course! How else can I catch my friend's favorite food?
Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now.
It refuses to drink milk. Can't hear whistle. Can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It is not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Piroshko has nothing to do with this incident.
So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death.
It's not. The emergency stop, the headaches, there's too much stuff that we don't know. There's something else going on. Also, he had his sword out. Would he put his sword out for a snake? For a cat? A kitten? I don't think so.
Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're gonna attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then... no matter the circumstances, I can't forgive you. But...
What are you talking about, Miss Mikitoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident.
I'm not a great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story. I'm sure of it. Just can't quite put my finger on it. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh! I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you're not finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ah! Not again! When did he do that? Especially as they're on your wrists as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Cosmo was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. About that how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes! What should we ponder first? Is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside? Was this truly an unfortunate accident? I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. I'm like 15 minutes over time and I gotta go to bed in like 3 hours, so. Yeah, I'll stream more tomorrow. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Yeah. See you tomorrow.